Link, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to another mukbang video, baby. We have a wonderful wrap scallion. We have not wrap scallion. We just have some scallop mashed potato scallop. It's amazing. My mom bought me this. Some good mom. It's a huge plate, so I'm like, why not make a mukbang, right? And it's really good. Okay. You know, I like to have a subject. My mukbang, right? Check what you have today. It's the one that I really enjoy. I came from a discussion I had with one of my viewers on Twitch. How did he see? Telephone. We're talking about VHS, right? And the obsolete became obsolete. So we were talking about how when we were young, we had the VHS, right? Which was a video cassette that you had only had the movie on. Of course, you had the credit. You had the opening scene, but no main menu. Not only that, sometimes you would borrow film for your family or your neighbor or the store. Blockbuster to be exact. Shout out Blockbuster. Oh, doesn't exist? The fuck? Tip of my tongue. And you need to manually rewind the movie. Otherwise, the person who was going to watch the movie had to rewind it. It was a long process, bro. It was at least 10 minutes to rewind. And you had to stand up, press the button. Oh. Often changed. And it's fantastic because it was the only way you could watch a movie at home, right? And you can even record over it. My father was watching this show, right? This home improvement show, like this woodworking thing. A little bit of both. And it's crazy because my father didn't want us to speak English in the house. He's French, right? And I'm speaking English. Fuck you. Thank you. I'm gonna tip on my tongue. And it's fun because he would record this English show because he really liked it. And he was always running out of VHS, and he forgot to buy one. He had to. He taped over my first steps. And to the video of my first step got deleted. Well, before digital, right? And then switch to DVDs. Well, I would replay the whole movie without even you having to reward. The DVD had feature, bonus feature, extra. It was the superior media, right? It was actually the really superior media. It was everything better. When DVD came out, the VHS and Empire dropped. And then came along the Blu-ray, which was just not a DVD, but they wanted to make more money, so they called it Blu-ray. I know it didn't bring shit. And we had Netflix, where you didn't have that physical copy of the movie, and you could just pay $7 a month. and watch 1,000 movie. But the problem with the $7 was a DVD would cost $15-$20, and you could only watch one movie. So when Netflix having $7 for the month, you had a limited movie. You can try to guess what people would choose. Soon enough, DVD weren't a thing anymore. Soon enough, the blockbuster I've been talking about in the last 5 minutes ceased to exist. We're streaming. That's something we call a passage of time. And with the advancement of technology, with the advancement of AI, going crazy fast. And this make you realize that the whole thing is exponential. Like the AI, there's a Medano, completely optimized. Soon, chips and are not going to be a thing anymore. Nuh-uh. And again, you can say that this is the natural advent of life. How things change for everybody. How your grandparents life will completely change the technology, and your parents' life will completely and by technology. How things that you know aren't that old. And YouTube only exists for 17 years. I'm gonna do that tonight. This is a beefy meal, dude. Then your grandparents, your parents are like this, and your man is like this. And yeah, it makes you think. Well, as a person, we all have a different pace, right? People mature earlier than others, and some people are pushed to mature more quickly than others. Maybe by an accident, maybe by an event that changed their life. And they had to mature. Maybe it was just being a young teen mom. Maybe it was just being an older brother and older sister, right? And it makes you think, like, holy shit, those people that got mature. And then you look at yourself and you're asking yourself, did I age in a good enough pace? And the answer is probably no. Then you develop a fear. I've been talking about the fear of, Mr. Albert says the fear of aging, right? But there's this fear of maturing enough, being mature enough. Versus not being mature enough, and that fear of not being mature enough is you're immature, and you're stuck in a life where you're 30, you're living in an apartment alone, don't have a girlfriend, you have a shitty job, and you create content because you're aware that it's kind of the only thing you can do, right? You're not sure it's gonna work, but for now it's the only thing that you can do, and it's scary. It's really scary because at the same time you don't want to be growing up too fast. Because if you grow up too fast, you realize that there's things in life you're missing out. For example, there's a lot of people that grow up with these deficiency, that have this psychological problem because they never got to experience their childhood. So you saw a lot of parents, a lot of parents, and it was insane because they start going out, they start having midlife crisis, they start having crisis. And you understand that the reason why they didn't have that midlife life crisis is because they had to grow up too fast, right? But then we have our generation who can live under the parents' house, who houses are way too expensive to move out. So you're living in a one apartment, the whole family together. And it's kind of nuts because you're saying, well, since I'm not buying a house, since I'm not doing the thing that my friends are doing, then maybe I'm not maturing as fast as they are. And then you can look at a entire group of people and say they're more mature than me, or the contrary. You can look at an entire group of people and say they're less mature than I am. So you're coming without you're coming out with this fear of exactly where am I supposed to be at exactly what stage of life I am. And the answer is varying for each other. There's no clear answer. There's no a clear directory of this is how you should be. There's not a level, because maturity isn't something that you can value. There's something that has a value. It's not something that you can quantify, which means you cannot put a value on it. For example, I'm X, my father is Y, and my father at my age, he had his own house. Right? My father wanted to have a house. I'm happy in my apartment. I'm super happy. And I'm understanding that I don't really need that, right? So my mature might have been more mature than me for owning a house, but it came at a certain cost. There's a lot of like issue that brought, right? And then again, you can argue that the maturity isn't necessarily buying the house, but saving for the house and making sacrifices for the house, because if you want something, you make sacrifices for it, and that takes maturity. Well, you can understand that, but you can understand that a person who is streaming, who's making video, who is working, is also making sacrifices, because they're putting out their entire life, their entire time, free time, into building something, somehow, somewhere. And that's what we're doing right now. We're creating something, somehow, somewhere. So you got a maturity with money, which is a budget, a investment, etc., etc. You've got an investment with time, how I want to spend my time, right? And arguably, that money is a bit more complicated because it's quantifying. Your time isn't quantified. I made a video about time and how the value differ if you're having a good time versus when you're having a bad time. If you're at work where you want the clock to move as fast as possible, versus when you're at home when you're always saying to yourself, I didn't have enough time. I don't feel like I had enough time. And you're in this discrepancy of what is the value of time, or the value of time is the same as the value of maturity, is unquantifiable. It's not incomparable, right? And it sucks because sorry, I had to blow my nose, because if you were able to quantify it, you would be able to say, yo, this is where I'm at, this is where I am, and this is where I should be. But then again, we were talking about, on this channel, talking a lot about anti-establishment and not following the establishment model of society, the social construct that makes us human. And then you're asking yourself, what if I don't want to follow? And it's extremely hypocritical, because you're willing to follow some of the, oh my gosh, this is complicated. You're willing to follow some of the rules when you're not willing to follow every single rule. So you're following the rules that are beneficial to you, but life is not entirely made up of things that are beneficial for you. The more you focus on things that are beneficial for you, the less you're prepared for things that are non-beneficial. When you're not prepared, you get hit like a brick. And getting hit like a brick is never fun, right? So what do you do? What do you find yourself doing? Well, you find yourself being in a place where you're not necessarily comfortable with the life that you have. There's moments where you're going to be saying like, yo, I'm mature enough for my age. And there's moments where you feel like there's something missing. And that's something. It might be a family, it might be a girlfriend, it might be a lot of things, you know? But then again, you're... the problem with not maturing, or not maturing enough, or is that the world next to you, the world out surrounding you, is constantly changing. There's a really cool story. I didn't have a job, right? And I stayed like a year as a shut-in, so not leaving the apartment, barely leaving the apartment, only when I had to. And when I had to, it was to get grocery, which is basically 50 minutes from my house. I didn't have to travel a long time, right? And then when I really got out, I saw multiple places close. I saw multiple places that changed. I'm seeing a lot of things that changed in my neighborhood. And then when I asked my father, because we live in the same neighborhood, and I asked him what happened here, the simple fact that he's telling me is it's been closed for a while now. This mentality is insane. I shouldn't be telling this, but when I had at the height of my depression, where I was in a shut-in, I would look in the people of my apartment, and seeing the alley was something that was scary. That was something that was distracting me. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy. This is bad. And when in a certain place where I'm like, it's not a certainty. Again, there's so many invaluable. There's so many things that cannot be measured. And not being able to measure something, although it's not, you shouldn't be having the certainty of wanting to measure every single thing, every single detail of your life, because at the end of the day, you're gonna go crazy, and that's not the goal, right? So you end up in a place where you're like, well, I like this and I like that, but am I able to get this and I get that? And those things they require they require a investment, maybe time and or money. Because we're always talking about an investment of time and money. Again, if I have to choose, money is gonna be the investment, because no matter what kind of money you have, no matter how much you need, no matter what value the money has, it's a piece of paper. Time is immaterial. Time is like a measure. I was talking about how you can measure time, you can measure seconds, minutes, hours, but you can't. They're all a social construct. They're all something we made up, something we created, and it's not true. It is not true. The simple concept of time isn't true. The simple concept. You have to understand that the simple concept of time and the simple concept of aging are two completely different things. The concept of aging is your body aging. Yes, it is dictated by time, but it's also dictated by your health, by what you do, by what you eat, by how many mukbang you put out in a week. This is things that are validating your fear of, oh, I'm going to age a lot faster because I'm not eating properly. These are going to be validating your fear of, because again, when you create that video, you're not in the out world, exploring the outer world. And because you're not out there exploring the world, are you losing time that you should use to mature, or the maturity that you gain by making a video and by the self-reflection that you're implying on yourself for making these said video? It's all the question. Again, sorry about that. I had to go to the bathroom and make some room for more because I'm pretty freaking full, to be quite honest. Where were we? I forgot. I guess it doesn't fucking matter. Because no matter what we're talking about, it's not gonna self-check. Me talking about the fear of the world maturing faster than you and evolving in a way that you're not evolving. It's just that. That's the only thing that's important. It's a fear. And the brain has something wonderful. When you have a fear, try to rationalize the fear. And that's why you're seeing yourself saying, my apologies. That's why you're seeing yourself say, this is not real. This is not a real fear. This is silly. This is idiotic. This doesn't make sense. Trying to rationalize the fact that you're fearing. But the fact that you understand that there's a fear and you understand that there is something there might change your whole perception. And by changing your perception, you're changing your whole reality. Understanding that the world is, again, going faster than you are is completely normal. The world is a assembly of organisms called human, a society that improve or degrade together, and you're a simple human being wherever you are, what age you are, right? So you have to understand that by your brain analyzing this fear and realizing this fear it's only a fear, and your brain's going to try to make. So let's take an example. You're burning yourself. Me popping this pimple right now, my brain's gonna tell me, hey, this hurts, stop doing that, it hurts. Your brain's gonna see that you're fearful. It's gonna start to stop you from having said fear. And how do you stop yourself from having said fear? It's just understanding that you're powerless. You are powerless to the amount of time or the amount of step forward you're doing. You are you are powerless facing the fact that the world is evolving. You're powerless. You're powerless in understanding how much you need to be mature or how little you need to be mature. You're powerless in every single sphere of your life except for one. And it's the biggest power of them all. You might be powerless everywhere, but you're there. You're in a position to live through it. You're in a position to feel every simple emotion known to mankind. You're in a position to live through every situation and somehow, some way, be okay. Because you have to understand the simplest thing. I'm excited because this is something I came up with today during a conversation, and I think it's a brilliant thing, and I want to share that with you. You have to understand one thing. You might be powerless, but as long as you're living through the thing, and you'll be fine. You'll be okay. And it doesn't matter what you're going through, because at the end of the day, it was supposed to happen. Maybe you're not even supposed to be mature. Maybe it's just a question of destiny and fate. And that all of us being different and at different stages helps. Because what helps creates problem, similarity. Two brands are going at it. One is Coca-Cola, one is Pepsi. Their taste is very similar. So what does Pepsi do?
establish its brand, establish that it's a brand for the people. What does Coca-Cola do? Change its format, add some flavor, create a caffeinated drink. Two of them, but the problem emanates from the fact that they were both similar. If we were all together, we couldn't solve a problem because all of us together being the same created an exact problem, and it's that lack of the diversity. The introduction of diversity to the situation of maturity and non-maturity is a simple fact. By being at different level in your life, you're able to observe all elements of life. For example, if you look at it from a standpoint scientifically and you're trying to solve a problem, then maybe somebody who has a more open-minded view of that problem is able to solve it. And you realize that the only weapon you have is your guts. Maybe it doesn't matter how much I think I should be. It doesn't matter where I should be. The fact I'm here. Right now, right here. Maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. Because again, when you're asking yourself the question of where I should be, should I have kids? Should I have a house? You're asking yourself the question, and you're comparing yourself to others, but they didn't have the same parkour, the same as you did. And understanding that you're at the exact place where you need to be is such a powerful thing. Let your guts do the job. Absorb life. Absorb everything that's going on. You know, I was talking about how I felt immature because at my age I didn't have kids or I didn't have a house, right? Now I'm talking about the fact that I spent years inside and it somehow made me not as mature as I should be. The lack of experience that made me as mature as I am, but the lack of experience drove a young, weak shadow of himself, ink. To a workplace that destroyed him. In the workplace that destroyed him, I built him back like a phoenix. The person who's writing this video, the person who's talking about this video, the very person that you have in front of you is a result of said event. Said event happened because I wasn't mature enough. Maybe I wasn't mature enough, but maybe I was never meant to be mature enough. Because if I was more mature, this problem would have not rise. If those problems would have not rise, I would be in vendetta. I'd still be myself. At the end of the day, you gotta let fate, you gotta let life guide you. God did. God knows everything. If there's a God, He knows everything. If there's no God, then your guts, your spirituality, your there's no such thing as fate. There's always destiny. Right? There's no God. Then the simple act of our own demise, the simple track in our life that are simple steps you take every day, right? I do a series of nature corn every day, every morning. It's always the same scenery. Why? Because the scenery doesn't change. The person filming the scenery doesn't change. The time pass. And it's a fatality. The time will always pass. There's no such thing as stopping time. If there was, we would have stopped time long ago. Right? We're in a position where I'm in a position where I'm the exact result of my life. If my destiny is to be here right now talking to you, then my destiny is right now talking to you. If my destiny was to be more mature, to be a father, to be a house, then I was able to escape that destiny. And being able to escape that destiny means that destiny was not meant to happen. Because something that meant to happen, there's something called the butterfly effect, there's something called the domino effect, there's something called the snowball effect, where a single action is going to lead to a reaction, and a reaction, and it's always going to grow further. There's a perception, there's a perspective where everything that's meant to happen is going to happen no matter what. Death is gonna happen no matter what. There's this movie called Final Destination. There's movie, right? But since you escape death, then you're gonna meet death in another shape or form. And that is exactly what the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter how you think. It doesn't matter how mature you are. You're just a simple DVD. You're just a simple VHS, right? And along the line, you're gonna evolve. You're gonna become a DVD. And the more you evolve, the more feature you are. The more feature you're gonna get, the more extra you're gonna get, the more content you're gonna get. And then you just stop existing. Your DVD is still there. Your whole DVD is still there. You stop existing until a giant like Netflix drove the entire business down, then you realize that your life, it never mattered how mature you were, never mattered how much the world changed. You were always meant to be pavement. You were always meant to be born and die. You were always meant to live a life cycle. And the world's gonna forget you. The world's gonna forget your existence. Let's be honest here. Okay? Your parents know your grandparents more than you'll ever do. Your kids are gonna know you more than they'll ever know your parents. Right? How many generations can you last? Now, with YouTube, with social media, you might be able to last a little longer. But at the end of the day, how many of us go back to video we saw from 10 years ago? How many of us goes to video that were filmed in the beginning of YouTube? How many of us are gonna click on a video just because it looks good? You understand? And that is exactly a point that I'm trying to make. I was talking about VHS and DVDs, and the fact that I'm able to film this video on a camera that's on my phone. Well, there's going to be more camera, there's going to be better phone. And this video, although it looks phenomenal, in 10 years, going to look like shit. Like complete shit. And you have to ask yourself, how many people are going to watch a video that looks like shit? All the things I'm saying, not something I discovered. They were part of somebody else long time ago concept. I'm listening to the audiobook of Fight Club. I'm realizing there's a lot of idea there that I thought I discovered, but I didn't. All of that is forgotten knowledge. Every single discovery that's meant something have been made. You're gonna be at your point of your life where most of the songs you're gonna like, you already heard them. You're gonna be at a certain point of your life where your first love is gone. You only get one first love. You only get one first job. You only get one first car. You only get one first apartment. Right? You can only become a dad once. You can be a dad multiple times, but if you're already having a kid, having a second kid doesn't make you a dad. You're already a dad. Understand that? Life just goes on. No matter who you are, where you are, what point you are in your life, life goes on. Accept it. Embrace it. Embrace change. Embrace evolution. And at the end of the day, you can try to stop it, you won't be able to. The best thing you can do is accept it. We're powerless. We're a cog in a system. And the system is being dictated by people who aren't cogs, but are simple button pusher. Some simple lever. There's this mentality that, there's this criminal, there's this killer, there's these serial killer. Like, take a serial killer like Ted Bundy. Take a serial killer like Charles Manson. Take a serial killer like, I'm not going to say Adolf Hitler, because Adolf Hitler did kill a lot of people. But look at those people, the amount of people they killed. Look at big pharmacy company, the amount of people they killed. Look at a tobacco industry, the amount of people they killed. Look at the big vape companies, the amount of people they're still killing. Right? And it's kind of crazy because we're allowing vapes to be smoked inside, right? We don't allow cigarettes to be smoked inside. We allow vape, which means that vapes are simply easier to get. I'm going to be on my bike, my electric scooter. I'll get tickets for not wearing a helmet. I'm going to be on my electric skate. I won't get tickets. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the skate. We're always choosing the easy way out. And that's life. So I love you guys. Take it easy. I'm full. It was delicious. Thanks, Ma. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.